Alright, let's skip the basics. We all know that a level 20 character is going to be a lot stronger than a level 5 character, and we also already know that level 20 equipment and weapons are going to be a lot better than the stuff that you start off with. That is not what today's video is about. Instead, I'd rather take a look at the ways that you can build your character to either be a damage dealer, a tank, or a healer, or you know, anything in between, because it's all up to you, and here's why. I'm going to start off with something that we've all talked about very briefly in the past a few times, and that is the character attributes. Each character has 3 major statistics that indicate how powerful he or she is. Those are the attributes, and they're called Firearms, Stamina, and Electronics. And there's also a small number right next to every attribute, which tells you how much points you have on each of them. Now, obviously, the more points you have, the better it is, and each of these attributes will directly affect your character in one way or another. For each firearm point, you will do 1% extra damage with whatever weapon you use. For every stamina point, you will get 30 extra HP. And for every electronics point, you will get 10 skill power. And for those who don't know, skill power determines how strong your skills are. In this case, because the player has a total of 53 points on the firearms, he will do 53% extra damage with his weapon. And he also has 68 stamina, so he will have 2040 extra health. And well, since he has 55 electronics, he will also end up with a total of 550 skill power. So now that we know how these work, let's look into how you can increase these numbers, because that is what this game is all about. The first way is, well, pretty simple. You just have to equip better gear. If we take a look at the gear that the character currently has, you will see that each piece of gear gives him a boost into 1 or sometimes even 2 categories. The body armor, for example, adds 13 points to the firearms, but the mask gives the player 13 points in the stamina section, and the same goes for every other gear item that the player has equipped. The holster even gives him boosts in 2 different categories, plus 12 for the firearms and plus 13 for the stamina. Now, if we were to skip ahead and take a look at a few of the statistics from a level 21 character, you will see that these values have vastly increased. The firearms is now 446. The stamina is 455 and electronics 570. The reason they are so high is because level 21 items can easily give you as much as in the hundreds of extra attribute points. And those together give you an insane amount of health, damage and skill power compared to the level 4 player. But not all of these attribute points are from the gear pieces, because you will also get a few extra points in each category every time that you level up. How much points precisely for each level is something that I simply don't know, but what I can tell you is if you were to strip all the items from both the level 4 player and the level 21 player, the level 4 player would end up with 28 points for each attribute, and the level 21 player, he would end up with 192 points for each attribute. But keep in mind, this might be changed in the release version of the game, because I can imagine there will be some balance changes after the beta. To get back to the topic of gear just a little bit before we move on, I'd like to point out that higher rarity gear will also allow you to add gear mods to the item. Gear mods are mods such as the improved electronics mod or the integrated stamina mod, and to my knowledge these mods give even more points to either one or multiple categories. For example, this one in the shop will add 39 extra electronics points to whatever gear item you equip it to. So yeah, we get it now. The more points, the better. But what if I told you that these points also have other effects than just increasing your damage, health and skill power? Because guess what, guys? They do have other effects. Taking a look at the weapons, you will at first sight just see their normal statistics, like how much damage per second they do, how much damage per hit, the accuracy, the range and all that stuff. But look a bit further and you will see that some weapons, like for example this pistol, will also have talents to them. In this case, the talent does 100% extra damage if you use it against a target that has under 30% health. And if we were to take a look at the perspective of the level 21 character again, you will see that the stronger, more rare weapons can easily have multiple talents, like for example increasing your critical hit chance or increasing your critical hit damage. You don't get those for free, however. There is an attribute requirement for most of the talents. As an example, for the first talent you will need 406 on both your firearms and your electronics. Now, the player already has both of these pretty damn high, so he doesn't really need to worry, but if he wouldn't have these requirements, then the talent would not become active, so you wouldn't be getting the most out of your weapon. And that's how the 3 main attributes work. But besides those, there is a whole list of smaller, less important statistics that determine how strong your character really is. You have critical hit chance, critical hit damage, headshot damage, accuracy, assault rifle bonus damage, damage to elites, health gained on kill, armor damage, threat, exotic damage, resilience, and the list literally goes on and on and on. And although individually these statistics don't really impact how powerful your character is, almost all the items in the game give you small buffs in either one or a lot of categories, and I can imagine that towards the end game you can really start seeing the differences if you start stacking a few of these bonuses. All with all, that is how the character progression works. So yes, your level does have a small part of it, but it is mainly the gear that you have equipped that affects how strong your character really is. And even though we're done for today with the character progression, that is not the end of this video, because we haven't really talked about the Dark Zone rank yet, and I thought that would be pretty interesting as well. And although it sounds pretty exotic, the Dark Zone rank is probably the easiest to explain out of all of them. So yeah, let's begin. When you kill enemies, complete missions, or do pretty much anything at all in the Dark Zone, you will receive Dark Zone experience instead of normal experience. And this experience, as you probably guessed, will count towards your Dark Zone rank. Now, unlike your normal level, you will not become more powerful if you get a higher Dark Zone rank. Actually, when you level up, nothing happens. Nothing at all. So, why even bother? Well, in the Dark Zone there are a lot of things that require you to at least have a certain Dark Zone rank in order to interact with them. There are a lot of vendors who can trade good items with you, but only if you are Dark Zone rank 30 or higher. And there are a lot of Dark Zone chests with special loot items, but you can only open those if you are Dark Zone rank 10 or 15 or 20. And there are some other things like that as well. Now the special thing about the Dark Zone rank is that if you die you will lose Dark Zone experience and you will in most cases also rank down. This effect is even bigger if you die as a rogue agent, so if you decide to go rogue you better make damn sure that you can get away afterwards. Otherwise, you might have a pretty bad day. And I guess that is it for today's video. Now, some of you here might be thinking to themselves, Marco, what happened to all the skills and the perks? Why didn't you cover those? And well, the reason for that is because all those things are unlocked through the base of operations. And I already did a video about that topic just over a week ago. So if you want to know more about skills and all that stuff, you can click on the screen right now or the link in the description. As always, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys later, or like they say in the Netherlands. Zie je later!